quite a while ago, I recorded a rant about King of Fighters 15 and how the DLC practice in that game pissed me off, and they still do, and I don't care if it's me complaining about a non-issue, and I should just fucking deal with it. It is an issue, you know it's an issue, and yeah, I have to hear about characters like Shang Tsung and Shao Kahn being DLC in Mortal Kombat, and this to me is pretty much the same ordeal. That is clearly some fucking bias. And I don't care what fucking company does it. Testament just got a release as well, and the only reason I'm giving him more shit is because he's been a lot more games compared to likes to Cliff or Justice. And yes, I know those are legacy characters as well, but since Cliff and Justice haven't really been in a lot of games that are actually considered somewhat competitively viable, I'm only really going to count their appearance in Guilty Gear XX Accent Core Plus R, where they were intentionally balanced to be playable. Yes, they did technically appear in the other games, but they were horrendously unbalanced, and you couldn't really use them in tournaments, and probably not even online with Guilty Gear X2 Reload or whatever. So, I'm not going to count those. Technically true, but misleading. But no, I'm not going to be talking about that in particular. I'm going to be talking about with SNK's shenanigans with the Rugal DLC, Omega Rugal DLC that's coming out in April. And I say DLC in quotations because it's not really DLC. It's just more or less a content update that adds Omega Rugal into the game, and people saying, oh my god, SNK is releasing characters for free, and then when you literally have characters in Blaze Blue Cross Tag Battle being released as DLC for free, actual DLC that you have to download, but it's for free, people then complain that it just should have been part of the game. So in this case, nobody wins. But here's the big problem I have with this DLC. I'm going to describe a word that a lot of people have to deal with for the likes of games like Grand Theft Auto Online. Seriously, GTA Plus, what the fuck? But no, we're not going to get into that. No, I'm going to be talking about Dripfeed. So, King of Fighters 15 is already starting to suffer from Dripfeed. A game that you have to pay full price for, $70 is nothing to laugh at, and yet they're already releasing content that seriously should have been in the game. So let's run this down. First of all, people have been wanting Rugal to appear in a lot of games because, you know, he's a very popular boss character. Hell, he's essentially the OG of King of Fighters final bosses. Yeah, I know, Geese was technically first, but Omega Rugal is kind of like the big dude, okay? And yes, I know there's those memes of picking him in arcades would definitely mean you get stabbed and shit, but we're not going to get into that. No, my big problem is that how the fuck is this literally not been part of the game? Even if it's free or it's going to be part of an update, what the fuck? Seriously, you think this would be something that would be in at launch? Or hell, even just have it be, you know, I don't know, unlockable? Look, as much as I give Super Smash Bros. Ultimate shit, at least Super Smash Bros. Ultimate has a thing called unlockables. How the fuck would this character be justified in being added in part of a game that you've already spent $60 on? You know, it's already bad enough these games are being released as incomplete, buggy, and quite frankly, horribly reviewed because someone didn't like something, even though it's just fine the way that it is. And you could argue that King of Fighters 15 is fun, so let me be, bro. Well, here's the thing. When King of Fighters 14 launched, yes, it did not have a lot of content. But here's the thing that people need to understand. King of Fighters has been fucking dormant since the last release with 13. The game that almost killed the series because people bitch about the game not going back to its roots with fucking 2D sprites. People gotta let that shit go, okay? It's not like there's no shortage of King of Fighters games that you can play with that gorgeous 2D pixel art. It's fucking stupid. And especially with emulation and constant Neo Geo re-releases and shit, you can play those games, albeit for a small but honestly pretty fair price. It's not for me, but if you want to play those, then you go right the fuck ahead and let the people who ride modern day trends play the shitty, glitchy, and quite frankly incomplete games that keep getting released year by year. It's fucking terrible. But even for King of Fighters 14 having a pretty decently large size roster, its content was lacking too. But again, I would give SNK a lot of slack because, you know, it's the return to King of Fighters. Street Fighter V was around that time, and by definition of what content is for King of Fighters 14, you can play the game offline, you can actually unlock the final bosses, which is something that King of Fighters 15 doesn't even have. Seriously, what the fuck? And they were actually pretty okay, too. You can even use them online, and they're not completely broken. Was SNK hiring that day or some shit? They usually make the boss characters extremely broken. And not to mention the DLC characters were actually kind of okay. Again, there hasn't been a King of Fighters game in quite some time, and it was really the first mainline King of Fighters game that was on next gen. You know, the game's been pretty much dormant for a long ass time, so okay, fine. Same shit with Killer Instinct. Yeah, I know the fucking free-to-play model is fucking terrible, but there's a definitive edition. Doesn't change the fact that Shadow Lord sucks, and the microtransactions don't help shit, but, you know, the game is finally complete. Just wish it was actually, well, complete when it launched. But whatever. Just wanted to clarify that, in case people got on my shit for being a fucking hypocrite. 14 may not be packed loads of content compared to the likes of other King of Fighters games, but compared to Street Fighter V, fuck yeah. So, there you go. But with this Ω Rugal DLC, you're essentially getting a boss rush mode, which other games have had before. I'm pretty sure even one of the earlier Multi-Blood games had this shit, and yet you'd have to wait for a fucking update down the line after spending $50 in that shit. And even when you do complete the boss rush mode, you get an alternate costume, and yet it's advertised as a DLC character. So is it going to be like one of the Ruby characters where you have to download it for free or some shit? I forget her name, but I'll put it on the screen if you want extra clarification. But this is fucking stupid. And what it says is people saying, oh, SNK is finally releasing a free DLC character. You know, they're taking the W in this one, even though the game is still lacking in content, especially after the other games. It's fucking stupid, and there's really not much of a reason to play arcade mode over and over again unless you want to unlock the jukebox songs. And even one of the updates even added in King of Fighters 2002 UM, which is actually pretty okay. And unlike Tekken 7, it actually lets you switch out the songs on all versions, even the Xbox Series X version. So I will give SNK that. The jukebox mode in the game is fucking great. It has a bunch of songs to unlock, that's fine. The problem is that there really isn't much else to play arcade unless you like unlocking songs over and over again. You know, it's nice, but it's kind of pointless in my opinion. It's kind of artificially inflated content. There's no challenge mode, there's no Neo Geo version mode of any of the other games. It's kind of sad. But yeah, you have the trials mode, but who fucking cares about those? And honestly, King of Fighters 13's challenge modes weren't even really worth doing anyway. I mean, there's not even a character edit mode. Remember that shit from King of Fighters 13? Or the fucking other stuff you can unlock in the game? Or even having hidden challenges you can fight? Remember those? No, those are apparently gone. And people say that this game's story mode is great, except it's literally just arcade mode, but with character cutscenes in between the fights, which is something that King of Fighters 13 did for all the characters, too. This is something that even before the likes of Mortal Kombat X and 11 did. There was actually very unique character dialogues depending on the character you fought, even some being very suspect. Seriously, look at something like Kula and Benimaru. I promise you get a laugh out of that. And I don't want to sound like I'm being negative. It is nice that SNK can actually do legacy characters for free, if assuming we're going to go by the downloadable content that, you know, that you have to download to play it, kind of like GTA 5 back on 360 and PS3. But if people gave BlazBlue Crosstag Battle the same shit for having free DLC that you have to download, and Ω Rugal doesn't require to download it, and if you don't during the system's lifespan or whatever, that you're just going to lose it, there's going to be some fucking problems. Just say he's going to be added to the game, or even better, just actually make him like a hidden unlockable that not even the data miners could find. This would actually be a great way to play the game. It's like, oh shit, you can unlock Omega Rugal, and he's actually in the game at launch? Holy shit. Maybe this icon right here could be some vague description that he might have been in the game, but it's just dumb. He should have been in the game at launch, he should have been unlockable from the start, and this mode should have at least been included at launch as well. I'm so tired of these games being fucking launched, that are barely complete, and then it's getting praised and it's being added, whether you have to get it as free, or being past the drip fed stage, or whatever the fuck. Seriously, if there was a BlazBlue game that came out and it did not include Abyss mode at launch, and you had to wait like 6 months to get it, and people complained that... And if people praise Arc System Works for bringing that mode back when it's been in other games, you have some fucking problems. Anyway, that's about it. I can't really think of anything else worth ranting about right now. I hope you enjoy my shitty King of Fighters 2002 Unlimited Match Tokeki version. Yes, I'm playing the Tokeki version, in case you couldn't tell, of this wonderful game. And seriously, why the fuck does the PS4 version of this game not have the 3D backgrounds and shit? It's fucking retarded. Anyway, that's all I have to say for now. I'll see you all next file.